Yeah, Amber's great, but I think if Fessy was with her, I don't know. I kind of don't think she would be in first place just because of how he is.
Same, same. I think they would ended up still in last somehow. That's me being a hater. Sorry, Fussy. What are movie disciples and good people of YouTube? This is MTV The Challenge Double Agents, episode 19, review. And I go by Brian, the movie Messiah. And joining me, as always, on the mission is my sister, Brittany. And I don't know if I should say this, but I haven't really been saying this, but obviously, reviewing the show. So this is just me spoiler heavy because I'm going to start off top with there's no drama in this. And my prediction basically came true. That's why I am called Movie Messiah. I will guide you to where you need to go, baby. Okay, what can I say? CT gets number 4. 4 on them hoes. But we can start off from where it picked up. I took a lot of notes last night. I don't know if it's because I was up late after getting off work and watching this. And I was like, why not? And crazy thing, it shouldn't have been all that many notes. Like I said, it wasn't that much drama. But pick up right where last episode left off, since it's a two-parter. We got, the decision to sabotage somebody with CT and Amber B. Who'd you say they were going to sabotage?
I think I said the smartest choice would be Corey and Cam because right behind Fessy and because Casey hurt her leg, they were really right behind them as far as time. So I said Corey and Cam.
Right. I believe I said the same thing. And so, yeah, they sabotage, Corey and Cam, which was a smart play. I mean, it was the right move. I would have done the same thing. I'm like, all right, y'all closest. I'm like, Casey can't run. She's with the wobble leg. So that made, Leroy and I jump up and, go into second place. And I was like, okay, they might still have a chance to get back into the game somehow. I mean, I don't know.
I was very hopeful, very hopeful.
Yeah, I didn't know
when and where. Decision. Amber B stood back and was like, I don't really want to make the decision. I'll let you make it. And I'm just like, wise choice.
Yeah.
And CT being the vet he is, I feel that was the best move he could make because they were literally right behind him.
Yeah, and I also think he might. I mean, he knew that Cam and Corey was the biggest threat. But I think also he had a feeling, and even Stacey later on when we get there, that this is Leroy's last season. So I guess he didn't mind the battle with going against Leroy and Nani. Yeah. I mean, also he might have, he probably has a better relationship with Leroy and Nani. So he was all right. I work with Cam. It really didn't work out. And Corey's all right, but fuck him. Drop the plate. Peace out.
Eat this.
So yeah, next checkpoint is getting the kayak, going across that cold ass water, grabbing some puzzle pieces, then coming back across the cold ass water, and then assembling that totem that they did earlier in the season. And this is where I thought I was like, oh, this they should have a good ass lead, but it could get a little hard because CT didn't win that thing, but it shouldn't be that. I feel like it shouldn't be that hard initially when they did the challenge earlier in the season. So did you think that Leroy and Nani were going to catch up at this point?
Yeah, I kind of did. I was super hopeful. I was just like, come on, Leroy, come on, Nani. Like, you got this. And the simple fact, I think everybody was struggling with the whole paddle situation, especially with Amber. Like, CT was like, do this, which I could see as well. Like, you look back at the footage, like, she literally was lightly paddling. Like, she really wasn't, like, hitting deep strokes in the water. So it's kind of like they really wasn't going anywhere, or they were going a little somewhere because of CT's push and how he was moving. So I feel like that gave them a lot of, for Leroy and Nani, time to play catch up. So I was like, I think that kind of helped them because they came, I think, right when CT and Amber were like still kind of working on theirs or didn't have too much left, but they were still there. So it was like perfect.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Like when that was happening, I was like, they might have a chance because when they're doing it, like you said, she was okay at it, but at some point, he's like, yo, no, listen to me, like, he's like, I'm trying not to yell, things like that, and back and forth, but they end up like flipping over out because I don't know if she was doing something right, but CT, flips out. I mean, he was like, yo, pull me in. The water getting cold as
Oh
hell.
yeah. Like, yeah, that water probably like you gonna get frostbite or something. I think everybody in a way kind of had like a freak out moment because Leroy was freaking out a little bit because they at one point weren't going anywhere. And so I started freaking out a little bit. I'm like, why are they just standing in this one spot? And so they were trying everything, but I think they finally got the groove and started moving. But yeah, I don't know if I could do that. Like I like the cold, but that's a different kind of feeling. I'm good on it.
Well, I was talking about CT and Amber B, but since you're talking about Leroy and Nani, they both flipped out. Yeah, they both flipped out, which is I was like, oh man, you can't afford any mistakes when you're behind and don't know how far you are behind with everything. Yeah, so they flipped out. They end up getting a second, and at one point it cut back to Fussy and Casey, and he's over there just pouting.
Not no Fussy.
Yeah.
He had the pout of the century. Like he should be a whole gift, something.
Absolutely.
And all you see is just poor Casey looking like blood spilling out of her mouth, still drinking while sobbing and eating whatever guts and intestines. And he's just sitting there. He just like, so are you quitting? Like, what you gonna do? He's like, I'm like, you're not giving the answer. You are quitting because you're still sitting here and this child is eating all this food. What's really going on?
Yeah, and like I said, TJ comes to him and pretty much explains like, yeah, if you don't, hurt and finish eating, you're gonna time out. Which I thought, usually if you time out, he still, keep advancing to the thing. But since I guess they were so far behind, he was like, you time out, you just gonna lose. So I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And so after he told him that, I thought, Fess is gonna pick it up a little bit. He was giving some effort, but
it was subpar. He said, I think he put it in his mouth and then spit it out right away. I was like, this is trash. And she's still sitting here gnawing it down. Honestly, I kind of, before whatever the results hit or anything, I thought they already lost because when they showed the kayak, I could have sworn I only saw 3. So I'm like, if they ran over there, was there a kayak for them? I could have sworn there was literally only 3 kayaks. So I'm like, either way, if they walked over there, it kind of would have showed that, yeah.
Good call. I mean,
you're not gonna make it.
They probably knew like once. Let's say even if they tried to or didn't time out, they probably were like, Casey, you can barely stand. So I'm like, there's no point in this. I'm sorry, we gotta wrap this up. Like,
so horrible.
Yeah.
You still sitting there eating hard. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, since we're already talking about them, yeah, they timed out, they lose, and I love later on Corey was like, you can cue in the insert, right here, that Corey, Fess is gonna be like, if I had my other partner, I would have done this, I would have been able to made it. They inserted because that's pretty much. But Fessy was saying like Mr. Fulham himself, and I'm like, would you though?
It was to a T.
Would you? Because
quote by quote.
Honestly, I feel like Fessy's like 2 biggest weakest links is eating and just like his mental
exactly.
attitude, like his mental ain't there. And some people, if you ain't got the mental, you ain't gonna win. That's some.
Of course, said it too. You said it's not all physical, it's not all strength. And I think CT, they were kind of on like the same yin and yang kind of vibe. Like it's not all that. You're fighting against yourself, the CT said. Like it's a fight for yourself. And then Corey was like, you gotta mentally have some type of mentality that you can push through it. And he was like, I just feel Fessy doesn't have that. He's all talk and just big for no reason. And I said, that's it. He does not have mental. I'm like, let's see. Yeah, you made it to the final before, but I'm just like, you don't have mental. And he was like, you got to have this mental to get these stripes to be a vet. And I'm like, yeah, you're nowhere near close to being a vet. Like, come on. Nowhere near close. But I'm like, you talk all this crap And to seal it in, I love it. They had the background music, Karma. I said that's the perfect music to play because really, Karma bit you in your butt, both of you.
Karma
So,
Chameleon. Yeah, I was like, what is this? And I was like, wow. I started cracking up. I was like, wow, they played your ass.
While she's sobbing.
Yeah.
Cry me a river.
I mean, would Fessy had a chance to win if he didn't pick Casey? Because he was with Amber B. I mean, he can go back and like probably bite himself in the butt, but at the same time,
I think Dottie said it like he's regretting. He's probably kicking himself right now to think that the person that you replaced and the person that you left in the dust that you didn't want Amber B is with CT, and she was killing the checkpoints in first place, nonstop, an awesome runner, and it's just like you got this one that whatever would have blew out her knee, and look at you. So yeah, I'm like, honestly, I don't know, but Amber B was really showing that what she's made of, and she was killing it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. He definitely coming back for another season, and we'll see if it's individual or it's with the group team, however they try to pull it off next year or next season, wherever they do it, and to see he can really like play his game, like you say. I never got a chance to really compete, and I mean, I don't. Is he smart? Because we don't know. I mean, Amber was doing certain things, but we'll get later. But this is CT heavy. Like this is CT. Like they're getting an MVP for like running the finals.
Yeah,
it's like Amber did her thing she had to do solo, but it was straight up like CT dominated at least 5 out of the 7 checkpoints.
Yeah. 10-gram puzzles, like they straight just had like puzzles. But she, I would say, was like the cherry on top, the sprinkles to add it in. Like she literally wasn't just like standing there. So I'll give her that. Like, of course, she was doing all the heavy lifting when it came to work, but she would like implement and like put in her thoughts. And so when it time came that he needed her help, she perfectly, inserted herself and did what she had to do. So I was like, okay, Amber B, like I love it. So I don't know, seeing how well they meshed together, and this was their first time and they were in the final to work so well together. I just think it depends on personality and just like, I don't know, dynamics. She knew he was the leader. I'm going to guide you, whatever. And Fessy's kind of like a bulldog and just like, shut up, I'm going to do this. So honestly, yeah, Amber's great, but I think if Fessy was with her, I don't know. I kind of don't think she would be in first place just because of how he is.
Same. I think they would end up still in the last somehow. That's me being a hater. Sorry, Fussy. So yeah, like we get to going back a little bit. Cam starts talking about everything she wants to do when they win this money. She was like, "Yo, I made a list." She was like, "Help open my mom up another restaurant, put both my sisters through college, paying for that, and help my grandma re-enter the country." I'm like, damn, it's a lot, man. Like, shit, breathe, slow down. Like, so you gonna plan on doing this with half of $900,000, which is damn gonna be taken down to probably maybe 100, maybe 175, maybe 200. No, ain't no 450. There's taxes, fam. They taking money.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, she still would have had a good chunk, and then you gotta think like, what her grandma would have to get a visa. The business probably would have been a little expensive.
I'm gonna assume.
I don't think she would have like paid for her sister's whole tuition, but jump started to help them out or whatever. But I do like it.
Is it out of state, in state?
Oh well, yeah. Hey, we're gonna have to be strategic with that.
That's what I'm saying.
We know.
I was like, whoa, just get there first. Just
get there first. Plan, no. She had a plan. And everybody knows I have not been on Cam's side. I have not. But I can't lie. She, especially on this episode or these last 2 episodes, maybe the last 3, I've been having a little heart for her. I've been liking her a little bit. Like I've seen a different side, and it's just like, okay. Like I love it. She had a plan. It wasn't, materialistic thing. She really had what she wanted to do with this money. And I was like, oh, I don't want to like you, but I kind of do.
Yeah, everything, everything's about family, which I guess definitely is understood during this crazy time with this panorama going down. So yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, I was like, just breathe, man. Just slow down. I'm not from manifestation. Just breathe though. Like I'm not thinking that far ahead. I'm thinking about
Right.
what
I
I gotta
guess
do
that was her
today in the
like
moment. Yeah, like
helmet or mental to like, all right, let me push because I'm like, I can only imagine like this was just like it's that kind of cold. I think you start getting hot and you start getting like your body gets numb. And I feel like the clothing that they had, was great at first, but you're soaking wet, like, oh Lord. So you gotta think of something, I guess, to keep pushing you to want to do this. Cause yeah, I love my partner and all, but that is not gonna be my reason to get me to the top. So let me think of what's gonna help me.
I'm just saying, I would have. I'm like, hey Brian, what do you plan on doing with the money? I'm like, look, y'all, I'll tell y'all what I'm gonna do with this money once I win this thing. For right now, my plan is to kick ass. Brian's not giving
Yeah.
no answer. You want to elaborate? To try to kick ass and not die. I'm here now. I'm like, once I win this thing, I'll tell you my plans, but it's like a birthday wish. I'm keeping this shit to myself. And Mr. Full of himself, Fessy, Fussy,
Yeah.
Karma Chameleon comes down, they get the boot. And then checkpoint 3, CT and Amber B, they win that. So checkpoint 4, solve an equation, 3 numbers, able, to get into the case to go to sleep. CT and Amber B win once again. And then CT wins because CT
Definitely.
drops a little gem saying that in high school, senior year, he worked at an engineering firm, and then he's supposed to take over for his dad telecommunications firm.
Yes.
So it's like, oh,
So the kid
what?
has a little like
I
this
mean,
whole time I have not known. Like
as I was saying, I always knew I was like, CT's always been kind of smart. So not only I'm like, this is probably why he's been, like you said earlier, the CT was when you say he's an a-hole, a dick. I've had
he
another
knows
headline.
it.
CT's a scumbag. The dude
Yeah.
was a freaking model, so he's freaking pretty, and he was smart. You can definitely understand why he was an asshole because he's probably in there like solving equations in class, telling you, cussing you out, and then probably dunking on you or running through you, playing football, rugby, where the hell he was doing in Boston as a kid. So I'm like, man, smart.
It's a straight threat.
Boston, smart.
Boston.
I'm like, she tried, but yeah, he knocked that out quickly. And then, they get the
Wait.
the best sleeping situation. And at one point, I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous when they had to hold a heavy ass canister. And I was like, oh man, like, is she gonna like sit this down and get a time penalty or something like that?
Oh
But
yeah.
she didn't do it.
She was nodding, like sleep is skating. I was like, he never said what happens if you drop it. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, what
Oh,
happens if you
I'm
drop
sorry.
it?
Let me backtrack though. CC has opportunity to do what I thought. Well, my predictions come all the way true. It was, all right, you can lock in your final partner. And he's like weighing his options. And I'm like, yo, if you do get Cam, like she's still pretty solid. And like only thing, like she might not be as good as a runner as Amber B. So I'm like,
Nowhere near.
but my head is like, do it because this is what I predicted. CT and Cam running away with this money. At the same time, I'm like, I feel like CT might have, learned from his previous
Yeah.
thing in the season, and then he already worked with Cam, and it wasn't bad. It was just like, all right. So it's kind of like, do you really want to give her a leg up and then lose somebody that just it's been pretty great at running this whole time, and you've been trying to keep up with her, especially since he's still not at um well, he's not in his prime anymore, just
Yeah.
age wise anyway, even if he was like in better shape. And chooses Amber B. So I was like, okay, like my prediction won't come all the way true, but
This
CT
was his
gonna win this shit.
redemption moment. I feel like you said, he already bit himself in the foot when he was regretting the whole situation with Big T. So I feel like this is like that Big T moment. Like, should I make that same mistake again? Honestly, I was hoping he would stay with Amber B. I'm just like, you and Cam didn't work. It was too much. I was hot head. It's too late in the game. Like you're literally in the final, and hands down, as we saw this whole entire point through all these checkpoints, she is the best runner. And I love it. Like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was just like, I love it. Like, she's telling me I got to catch up with her pace. And I'm just like, usually it's the other way around. So She held her own. She was ahead of the game, like even in front of him. So this is a lot. I was just like, please do not swap. I feel like that would be the dumbest thing. And like you said, he did it. I was like, perfect. I was just like, yes, stick with Amber B.
Yeah, I had it
The
written
black
down.
and
I
gold.
don't know if you can see it. No, we probably can't see it. But I had he stays loyal. That's what I had written down my notes. I'm like stays loyal. Because I was writing it, I paused it. I was like, and then I was like, he stays loyal, did it. And they want to go to sleep. They have to dunk their head in some ice cold water. I'm like, that's some a-hole stuff right now. And to sleep in
I
the
was
glacier.
just like, you're sick. And I was just cracking up. He was like, I know.
That's one of the quotes. Like,
you are like, what? I gotta dump my head in this ice cold freezing water. Mind you, we're in like a igloo. And then I gotta go to sleep. So I'm wet for what? To go to sleep. I'm just like, this is stupid. I was like, yeah, you are sick for this one, TJ. Like, really? I'm like, I cannot.
Yeah, my quote pretty much was one of, I might have had 3 this week, but one of the finalists for quote of the week, it was 90 says, "You're sick. No, don't laugh like that, you weirdo." Like,
yeah, I was cracking up.
He's cracking up with that. So yeah, they gotta do that, go through that whole thing back and forth, and they survived till 7 a.m. Then the next part, it was like they got a 5-minute head start as CT and Amber, and then the next team got a 2-minute head start. But pretty much the next stage, also the temperature got down to 15 degrees.
Yes.
15 degrees, and I was like, shit.
I could barely do 30. So just imagine half of that. No.
It was rough.
And they're still wet. I'm like, and they're sleep deprived. And you want me to do what?
Yeah.
Like Corey said, he slept 20 minutes? I'm like, I can only imagine. Like, this is torture by now. Like, no.
Yeah. Also, before we start talking about day 2, I had a newest movie disciple, Miss Sonia Kenny. She kind of, she dropped some knowledge. She, had her own thoughts. Shout out to her. Finally, somebody dropped some comments down below. But she pretty much was like, Amber B will let CT decide with sabotage. So she felt good about that. She was right on that. And she was saying it's a toss between Leroy and Nani, Corey and Cam, with the whole eating situation. And she was like, Leroy and Nani almost done, but Cam and Corey was the toughest. So she had some good stuff. And then she found out that Casey said she tore ACL in November. It was tweeted about that in November. So yeah, that's how messed up her knee was. So she was like, that's why they won't make it to day 2. So it'll be a waste for them sabotaging them. And she was right about her predictions and everything. But she also said, we got to give up our ghost of Leroy and Nani winning this, because Nani is a longtime chain smoker, so she has no endurance.
Oh my God.
When I read that, I was like, damn,
that makes sense.
Right. I forgot that Nani does like smoking cigarettes. And this is
dang, Nani!
Leroy had no chance. And I told her, I was like, I was like, I don't know if you look at my rankings, but I was like, I've always kind of felt that Leroy might not be able to pull this out, because some just doesn't, it didn't feel right towards the end. Like, he started panicking. I saw my individual rankings, so I had CT ahead of him. And since he got paired with 90, she said that, I was like, man, they might not have no chance. And we'll get to that in a little bit about why they didn't win this thing overall. So checkpoint, the next day checkpoint, after they take off, they had to run the glacier, go grab pick axe, and then run across like the glacier mountains to get to this black ice, and chip out this capsule, and then get to that point to drop the capsule off and decode something. But running across the thing, I'm looking at, I was like, yo, what's set out there on the Zack Snyder's Justice League? This is Batman Begins. Where this cold ass mountain there? Even slaying in the glacier, I was like, Nick, this Man of Steel, this is where the Fortress of Solitude is. This is where he crabs.
This is Captain America, Winter Soldier. Like, it's giving me all these vibes. Yeah. I was like, and Cam said it best. She was like, I'm not trying to run, injure myself like Casey. I said, girl, I feel you, because imagine they're literally walking or treading and running on ice. So
I mean,
They
you saw
don't
they was
have
running. There was like
shoes.
it's like
Yeah,
kind of
so
wobbling
it's
up. It was
like
like
you slip, you fall. They are literally on the side of a mountain. No way. It's going to end very horribly. So I love it. She was pacing herself, doing what she could, and Corey was like awesome support. Like, you got it, Kim. You got it. Let's go. Let's go.
yeah.
Like, we got to touch it.
And when they're doing that, Corey's like, "Yo, like, this time, perfect time, like catch up to Leroy and Nani," and that's when they start doing
Oh,
that. And he said in the convention, he was like, "Some motivation that we need." He was like, "We're making all the time." He's like, "Yeah, I just looked down at my fake watch." I was like, "Yeah, man."
yeah. I said Corey's stupid.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So
Stupid.
checkpoint 6, they go down to go. They got to drop the capsule off, and then run up and see. It's a decode thing. Again, I said pretty much. I like this finals. A lot of stuff they did previously throughout the season.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty dope. I mean, I feel like they've done that, past finals, but we'll talk about like
Been a
me
minute.
falling in and out of me watching all these finals, and you pulling me back into all this craziness.
I'm
So
bored.
yeah, they go up there and they was like, "Oh, we gotta run back down, go look at the capsule." And I was looking like, "Man, this might be, I don't know how far y'all ahead, but this is some good editing in there to make it feel like you know that teams could catch up." So go down, go look at it, and I figure once you start putting a couple words, a couple letters up, I'm like, just yes. Like I'm not looking at any like after that. Like I start looking at the strikes, but you had to get system. They looked at the top, she looked at the bottom, and took off.
Yep.
Both all the other teams start figuring that out as well. So they get up there, and he was. I saw a couple words. I was like, infiltrate. I was like,
Infantry. Yeah. And CT was just like, damn, let's get it.
yeah, this is what's the game show for me? Wheel of Fortune. This is all Wheel of Fortune to me. I see a couple of putting together this infiltrate. I was like, was it was classified, then encryption? I was like,
Yeah,
I saw a couple of letters. I was like,
yeah.
put it all together. Boom, let's get out of here.
I was proud of Nani. Like I think she caught it on and did it. Mm-hmm. I loved how they worked that out. Now I don't know if they edited that or not, but initially with CT and them, I don't know because I know they had to go back. So I'm like, I feel like they had the capsule because it said drop your capsule. I feel like they dropped their capsule, went to the top, and then realized that they had to look at the code and come back. So I noticed, I think they were the only ones to do that, and everyone else pulled out the code before going to the top. So I think that kind of helped them as far as like some type of time to catch up, and that's when they were like.
I gave them like a little bit more time to catch up, and then because I think that's when they had to run to the next checkpoint and do the tanagram, and I was like, well, this is CT the God. He's gonna destroy this. It's gonna be easy to work with. He even said everybody thinks I'm Nostradamus is gonna pull this out. And also he also is working, lack of sleep and it's cold. So it could play mental thing like to mess up.
I'm like his mind.
Yeah. So
but the fact that he said that Nostradamus or Nostradamus, I said, wait, what? You are a smart cookie. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, so they end up doing it, but like they try to knock it over. You start seeing other teams start catching up. So I'm like, oh man, like could be a little closer. Like you said, they start catching up with the whole decode thing. So that happens, and then this is why I got nervous because when they start taking off and running, CT, is letting Amber take control. He's like, run up, and he said it earlier. She can run, but she get a little scatterbrain when there's kayaking. She even said it too. So I was like, when she took it off and they missed the arrow, I was like, are they gonna lose this because they missed the arrow?
Yeah.
But it was just like some good ass editing because Leroy was saying, well, I don't see CT and Amber, so I'm like, are they off track? I was like, nah, man. I'm like, they ain't that damn far off track. Like this got to be close to the end. Like, it ain't too much time left.
Spurred off a little.
Yeah, and it was smart play.
I was scared, but I was hopeful. I'm like, oh, maybe this is your chance. Like Donnie, we were like, y'all could somehow see the arrow and guide and go that way. But yeah, like you said, definitely great editing because they found the arrow.
Right. I mean, like I said, it was smart. Like CT didn't run too far ahead. He let her run up and go peep it, and then it was like they both turned around and they found it, and it was okay. Arrow's over here. It took off, so I was like, oh, okay, it's not as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. And then they course correct and CT knows they're close. He said it's like, all right, this has got to be them. Like TJ's like up here. I got I feel good about it, and they do it, and They get up there and Amber's like, yeah, we won. And TT was like, no, what's up, dog? I'm like, give me love, give me a hug. I don't say anything. Like, I won this like number 4 for CT. And Amber gets number 1. Like Amber Bold gets numero uno.
Beautiful. Get it. I don't know. It still felt like surreal for me. I know TJ was like standing there. I'm like, did they win? And then, it's just signed, sealed, delivered, solidifies everything. You see their name, winner. I'm like, oh, this is legit. Like they win. And then right while I'm celebrating, like, okay, I still feel good. I love me some CT. Awesome. Back of my mind, I'm just like, okay, Leroy, Nani, Cam, and Corey. What is happening?
And they're all bunched up, kind of together. I'm looking.
I don't think I've ever seen it that close.
Yeah. So Leroy's off and take off, which he does. Leroy beats Corey, which I was like, my man. He finished in second, but it's a team thing.
I'm about to run.
Yeah, and Cam beats Nani because Nani smokes cigarettes. Nani has no wind, and they come in third because Nani loves smoking darts. Thanks, Nani.
Right on. Leroy. But it was a lot of emotion. I was like, no.
This should be a PSA. Stop smoking cigarettes, y'all. You can't win anything if you ain't got no endurance.
Because she's like, I cannot go. She was still moving, but it was just like
muscles are tightened up. Yeah, muscles tighten up. Yeah. Your muscles tighten up because you smoke cigarettes. To see her
make it, I was proud. I'm just like, Nani, like you literally made it to a final. You're not leaving with any money, but you made it to a final.
I believe she's probably made to a final before. I mean, it's probably been a long time, but
it's probably been a long time. I'm blanking out. I'm catching up with my history, so excuse me, y'all, if I'm off. But she said it best herself. This literally has been her best season. Like all the shows that they've had, this has been her best season as far as like her work ethic, her keep going, her not giving up, because she usually, I can't remember what season it was on, but I think she was partners with Johnny. She usually always freaks out, especially during elimination. She gets in her head, I can't, oh my gosh. But she didn't. She like excelled when it came to her time for elimination, when it came to her not really freaking out and keep going. So she did that. I was like, go, Nani.
Look at you putting a positive spin on it. Sure. I mean, you're probably right. It's been a while. Like I said, me really like paying attention. It's a lot of season as well. So maybe, unless she feels like that, that's great. Same thing, Leroy said, it being his last season, he said, he gave it his all, so he can't be too mad. And so obviously you gotta respect that. It might sucks, he didn't win any money, but kind of did, because coming back to Cam, and Cam was over there in the confessional crying.
Yeah, talking about that 50,000.
And she was like, we won, but came in second, but Leroy lost. Yeah, I mean, she wanted her man to win. And I was like, and that was kind of solidified everything they was talking about in the cave and just the episode before the final. This is everything we wanted to do is we work for it. And Leroy said in the thing, he was like, I can envision myself marrying her, and if I was to have a kid, somebody's gonna be with her. And I was like, oh man, like she up here crying about her man didn't win. I was like, yo, they are.
You the one. I mean, she came from Are You the One? Girl, you found the one. Yeah. Can't lie, I got a little emotional. This one was, like you said, no drama lack, but it definitely was like emotional filled. Like I just had full emotion. Like I said, Cam has not been my number one, but how she rocked for her man, I said, okay, Cam, I love it. And she got teary-eyed and like what they represent, what they're fighting for. I was like, dang, like I'm kind of getting water eyes. I'm like, this is real. And it being Leroy's last season, I was just like, oh, this is just a lot. Like, I can't.
CT.
It was beautiful. Black love. I love
CT, says he was like, y'all second place. And like, this is the most, I'm like, I didn't get this much when I won first in my first season. Winning a final. I was like, wow. I'm like, the money definitely has changed. I'm like, where's MTV getting this money from? Because they damn sure ain't showing music videos anymore. So I'm like, where y'all getting this money from? Y'all, I'm not saying they're throwing out money. I'm just saying, like, this is crazy. You'll have more ridiculous money back in the day, but probably so. All the ridiculous.
Yeah, they really wasn't giving that much money before, but I don't know. They've expanded. So.
Something changed. Something has changed, and
Yeah,
I
emotional on
believe
that
Leroy
too.
had the quote of the season. Leroy said, "So what? I didn't win the $1 million, but it doesn't mean I won't, get $1 million in the future." And I was like, "That's real, dog.
Yes.
I love that.
That
Love it.
optimism,
Yeah,
I loved it. I was like, yes, you right about that. I'm just in here talking to TV like I was with someone. I'm like, yes, Leroy, yes. But I like how they put a spin on it, because he kept reiterating and going back to him being his last season. So, you obviously, as an audience, especially if you're cheering for Leroy and, in his corner, you want him to win. So the fact that he didn't even win second place, it's like, oh, dang, this kind of sucks. Like, this is really bitter. But how they put a spin and he's still happy at the end. He did it with Nani and everything. It's like, okay, I love it. I love it. I don't feel that bad. And then, CT's the winner. So I'm like,
yeah.
it's like you can't be fully too mad because obviously he deserved it as well. I'm like,
It was bittersweet.
so
CT played a smart
yes,
game. He screwed over people when he had to. Chopped it up, fake cared about a few people, and he say screwed over somebody that really loved, had his back, and tried to like redeem himself, redeem himself in her eyes, and he was like, "I'm not going anywhere." Also, he might come back and win like 1 or 2 more. That might pull Johnny back in because Johnny has 7 and CT now has 4. So we got to look at, CT's legacy. CT said pretty much it solidified CT. Like, I ain't going to the old person league just yet. I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
With
I mean, he still got it in him to go against all these people. And granted, he's not how he used to be, but still, it is CT. And he beat all these people that are mostly in their 20s and maybe early 20s. I don't know how OCT was. I was definitely trying to look that up last night. Still look good.
He's 40.
Still look good.
He looks
And
fantastic.
he's
They
40.
show that in the reunion. I'm like, he might be in better shape than in the reunion. So I say he might be in better shape.
He might be trying to get fit. I'm just
Right.
like, he's a whole dad bod. But I'm like, he killed it. So definitely can't wait for that reunion because we're gunning for people.
Yeah, I don't know if we're talking about that on here. We'll see if it is to be like quick 15, 20 minutes. I don't know if there's really no point talking about gossip.
He did it for his son. So that really got me all emotional. I'm like, like I said, I've been like watching the old challenges and just see how he was and how he is now. Like he's an old dad. Like that's my life. This is who I do it for. I was like, oh,
he's a whole what?
The dad version of CT. You said what?
Well, he's a whole what?
He's a whole dad.
Oh, okay, something like that. Yeah. So CT's history, like he won. He was in the first final. He was in the Inferno, and they lost to the Road Rules team because he's on Team Real World. And then he was in another final another final with Inferno 2.
Just saw that one.
And Team Badasses lost to the good guys. Yep. And then he was in the duel.
That was
he probably had a great chance to win the duel. And I definitely remember watching that season. They got screwed over. Well, he got screwed over because he pulled off this flag or something while Brad unhooked it. So it was some technical BS. Yeah. It was straight up some BS.
Well, I don't even think Brad got to unhook it. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but CT like he ripped it off. I was like, that's
the whole. He was like, I did it.
Yeah, Gauntlet 3, he probably had a chance to win that. Big Easy dies, so that screws everything up. And then like two of the like he's lost to Johnny. He lost to Johnny in 2 finals. He lost to Rivals with Adam. They had a great chance to win that, but Johnny and Tyler won that one. And then Battle of the Exes came in 2nd place with DM to Johnny and Camilla. And then Johnny beat him in Free Agents in a puzzle. So
in a puzzle
of all things, exactly. I think that probably kicked in like overdrive for him like to get better at puzzles, because even though he was probably good at puzzles at the time, like I think Johnny kind of knew CT was good at puzzles, and I think he was shocked himself that he won, and CT's probably shocked that he lost. So. Like right now he has 4, Johnny has 7. Johnny's like pretty much still the man, but CT, like this is some getting up there prime. Like I said, Tom Brady might go on another run, give him like 1 or 2 more, like might pull Johnny back in, because people are gonna be talking like, yo, who's the best? Like
Johnny.
CT and Johnny's on
And I
Mount
feel,
Rushmore, but
yeah, I feel that's debatable, honestly, because realistically, I mean, Johnny, obviously, I'm never going to dethrone him when it comes to his own personal title, but arguably, CT obviously is a killer. And I feel like what deterred him from probably getting more wins is his anger. Because let's be honest, CT used to have anger and he used to get kicked off the show. Got kicked off the show. I think he got kicked off the Inferno as well. So I'm like, if he
I think it
didn't
was
bash
Inferno
people's
too.
head in, yeah. If he didn't bash people's head in and threaten to kill them, maybe he could go a little further. You know, he did make it to the final. What was it, Gauntlet 3? But I mean, he was, screaming in Big Easy's face and yelling at him like, yeah, if you saw the kind of anger that he had instilled in his body, yeah, he was kind of a maniac. Like, I'll kill you myself. I'm like, oh, okay.
I definitely remember that. That was
He was on steroids, probably not, but he act like
like
he was.
just super rage issues, in shape, testosterone, being young. Like let's say him getting kicked off. She got kicked off a couple episodes, couple shows, like first episode, so that didn't help him, winning chances. But pretty much, I feel like with age, comes wisdom. So him
Yeah, he
getting
definitely
older,
got smart.
standing in the background, watching how things play out, and not getting involved in too much, and then probably having the son, cooled him down, and also
Yeah,
the
that
passing,
mellowed him out a lot.
like passing of DM, probably put a lot of things in perspective for him. So he probably mellowed out, and he's not working out as hard as he used to. So I ain't gonna lie, like having a bunch of testosterone, and you will get you geeked up if you're already on that level anyway, ready to beat your ass. And like I'll kill you myself, like you just. I remember some episodes like, man,
I
like
remember that. I was like, deja vu. I was like, I'm scared myself. I'm not even running.
yeah, like
But yeah, he is.
it
Came
being
along.
on Paramount Plus and having a chance to see some of his older stuff. I wish I could see like seasons 1 through 10.
I know.
Because that's when, like I said, CT came in. But being able to see some of these older seasons, I'm gonna go back and check out now. Yeah, just being able
Fair
to,
mind. We're season 14, but
yeah,
I digress. Whatever. Put that on there.
You can check some of the stuff out on what's the thing on Pluto as well, some of these seasons. But I'm like, I was watching like a lot of stuff, but I never got a chance to like really finish it because it would come out like weird times. And I had things to do, especially like at one point when I was in college. I'm like, I'm definitely not tuning in like I would like to, but I would go in and out. So I want to say thank you to my sister for pulling me back in and making me catch up with Total Madness just so I can catch up and watch Double Agents. I'll see if I can go back and watch a few of these other seasons and just piece some things, and it's fun. Like this is one of the best competitions, sports on TV. I'm not watching basketball, football. I'm watching the motherfucking challenge. What about y'all? Appreciate my sister for being my best friend. I do this for my family. I do this for my family so much. This season, we might be back for a reunion episode, but we'll probably start talking about the Challenge All-Stars. Why not? She drugged me into that. She got Paramount Plus. Might as well start talking about that soon. Man, love to hear you guys' thoughts. We went super long this episode, but I mean, it was the final, so I guess it was bound to happen. Love to hear you guys' thoughts about everything and the season. We came through halfway and we completed and ran the final, and we got that 900K. We got 900. Let's say 900 subscribers. Let's see if we get 900 subscribers off this. We shall see. Like I said, love to hear your thoughts. If you're enjoying what you're watching, please hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell. And please follow us on social media. I go by Brian, the movie side, for my sister Brittany. If you enjoyed this review for the Challenge Double Agents, cool. If you did, man, I'm sure we'll see you at the reunion and probably All Stars. Base 5. Let's ride.